Hi, I'm Katrina, and this is my Nagios assignment 4. In this recording, I'll demonstrate my Nagios server, modern my Apache, and I also put my SQL, put that on my Apache as well. So that's my target. I'll show my configuration changes, my plugins, firewall, SELinux, DNS, and the regular health checks on the Nagios website. Here I've run some command line checks. This is to my Apache server for my Nagios server. So I check the load, I look at the CPU, check the users. There's one user currently logged in, check the disk space, and check the memory of the Apache server. And all went through okay. Also gonna take a look here and show the nrpe config file, the NERP. This I'm allowed hosts, allowing it my Nagios server IP. Here are the two commands that I had created within here. This is the check disk and the swap, which is the memory. The users and the load were already automatically in there, so I didn't have to do anything there. Unless I needed to adjust the parameters of it, but I didn't feel the need to. Here's my SELinux. This is my Nagios server. It's enforcing. I didn't have to do any changes with it. Same thing with my Apache server. Here's my firewall on both servers. This is my Nagios, so basically the same, the rich rules allowing for my Apache server. This is for the NRPE, the NERP, and 3306 is for the MySQL, just allowing them to connect and contact each other. And it's the same thing here. This is just pointing towards my Nagios server IP instead, so it's for the way back. All right, now we are on to authentication and the domain name. So first, we're just going to quickly look at the A record within name server 1. Okay, so now we're on to authentication and domain name. So we're going to start with looking at the A record on NS1, which is my name server 1, my DNS. So here it is right here. It's monitor, and the IP address is 192.168.224.82, so it's within there. And I did a quick PowerShell looking at the DS name, monitor.kgibson.com, and it returned my A record here with its proper IP address. Got answer back. So what we're going to do is input this URL here. So it's monitor.kgibson.com/Nagios, which should give us our Nagios site. And it will pop up here, sending us to HTTPS, and we're gonna have to log in with a verified user. So say, you have a random user, can't get in, only authorized users in. And we are in with the Nagios admin user. Here are all my checks. So everything is looking okay. Current load, users, HTTP, ping, root partition, SSH, the DNS for the NS1, all the MySQL ones, everything is in the green status, okay? Okay, so we are going to test the checks by shutting down Apache and MySQL of the target server. So once those goes down, when the next check updates, it should become red with critical. And then once we restart them and the check happens again after that, then it should become back to green. So let's try with stopping Apache and MySQL. And we can just double check the status to make sure they're dead. So inactive and also inactive. All right, and since we turned off the Apache and MySQL, we see critical errors have started to happen. These three haven't happened because it hasn't been checked since I did it. So that's okay, but it still says okay just because it hasn't done its check yet. Let's refresh and look, we already got another one. MySQL test query, it was just checked, and it's also critical. So I'm sure once these check, they will also become critical as well. We just don't need to see it happen because, we see everything else has been critical already. So I'll just turn the Apache and MySQL back on, and once those go back on, these should become back to green. All right, so I started them back up. We can do a status. So that's running. and that's also running. Now we'll just wait for them to become a green again. Alright, and since we've brought an Apache and MySQL back online, we started to see the checks go up again to green. So these three all agree again. These three are still critical because it hasn't been checked since I brought them back on. So once those get checked, then they will be back to green. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we are going to do the HTTP web check. So right now it's looking for the word alive within the index.html page of my site 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove that word from it, and then it will become critical, and if I add it again, it will become okay again. So we're just going to change site 1. So we'll say that. We can restart Apache just in case. And we're going to test this manually on the Nat.geo server in case we don't want to wait all that time for it to become critical. So you can see it's not found because we took it off of there. So if we want, we can wait for it to become critical. Since we know it will, because we saw it on here, then there's no reason to really wait for it on the website to see critical. So say if we put it back on Apache like that, okay, start again, run the same check, and now we can see it's okay because it was able to find the word alive. This was in my remote servers config, where it's looking here, where it's looking within the index.html, and it's looking for the word alive. Rescheduling within the UI of Nagios, like manually reschedule the health check, say from like a minute later. I just could not get it to work for some reason. I don't exactly know why. I've added like SE Linux, little things to get around, like this here, like it told me. It just couldn't reach my command file, but everything seems to have the right permissions. I've been changing everything. Everything seems to be in like correct groups, at least to me, maybe not. So I just really don't know what's going on here, but it's been taking up a lot of my time and I just decided to leave it. So now I'm going to do is I'm going to change the A record from monitor to just a little bit within here. So it should cause a critical error within the Nagios UI when it tries to do the DNS lookup or DNS check. So within Nagios, the remote servers config, I have within here. So this is DNS A record lookup. This is for my monitor, so my Nagios, and it's looking specifically that I have the IP ending with 82, but as you saw, I changed to 83, so it should cause a critical error because it cannot find that 82 IP address. So now we just wait until it shows up. So now you see in here, the DNS A record lookup has gone critical because I changed the IP address to a different one than my monitor was before, than what it was looking for. The DNS A record check is still going because this is for site 1, so it's my Apache server. So that still has the same IP address, so it's still okay. But this one was for my Nagios, so it didn't like that I changed the IP address. Okay, so now I'm going to do the stress test on my Apache server. So I'm just going to run this command and push the CPU and RAM to its limits, and it should last about a minute. And while that's happening, I'm going to be running the check load command, looking at my Apache server to see if it's reaching critical levels for my CPU. So yep, it's critical, my load average
It's more than it should be. So that would be with if I was using my website, which it takes forever to load, so I'm not going to do that. I can just do this easy enough. It would be, critical, and then once the stress test is over, we double check again, but it should be back to being okay. Okay, so the stress test has completed successfully. Okay, now that the stress test is over, we wait a little bit for the CPU and the RAM to calm down. As you see, we checked the load a couple times, and it's steadily gone down over since then, and it's still going down. So we did the stress test, and I've checked the load, as you see, a lot of times, and it's steadily gone down, and it's now into a warning zone, so it will just keep going down until it's okay again. So I'm not gonna worry about it, because I know that it will be okay eventually. And so I didn't quite get it working, but this is where you would set up the administrator's contacts just to send like emails, notifications of anything critical is going on in the system to let them know. This is within Nagios, the contacts config. So here we have a contact here. So it's a Nagios admin. That is my Nagios user. This is notification period, 24 hours, 7 days a week. Same thing here. And this is my email address. I have it just attached to my iTask one. Notification commands was by email, and notify service by email. So this is just where it would be if you wanted to get like emails and alerts if anything was going on in your system. Now it's time for the TCP dump, which is only using port 5666, which is the NRPE. So that's the only thing we're looking at today. We're going to see how the Nagios and how the NRPE connect. And where you should see it. We run this. Okay, it's started. And we're go back here. We're going to run the manual commands. We're going to do a check disk. We can do check swap. And let's do check load. So we see everything here, the SYNAC, just back and forth between the two servers, just showing everything that's going on within the NRP and Nagios. So that is my Nagios assignment 4. Thank you for listening.